only did like 2 donuts of the donuts.
Win.
Well, it's because we were running low.
Hey, runners, it's time to run 10 junk miles together.
10 junk miles.
10 junk miles.
Just burping in the intro.
Hey, everybody. Let's run 10 junk miles.
Let's run 10 junk miles.
Or 10 junk kilometers, as someone from New Zealand put on that.
I don't think we're allowed to make Italian accent things like that.
I thought that's what he was doing.
I have a question about the kilometers, because I saw the person ran in kilometers, and I know that there's a math, there's a formula. What's the formula?
It's 1.6 kilometers.
1.6 kilometers. What's a good time for a kilometer? Nobody knows.
Yeah, sure, I do.
What?
For
You got to do the math, though, right?
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
if you're running is like 10 kilometers, or not 10, how about 2 kilometers to go?
yeah,
How fast do you want to do that in?
like 7.5 minutes.
See, it's just, I don't know. I can't do the conversion in my head.
That's your own. That's because you fucking only eat like cupcakes and pizza.
I struggled
Scotty's covered in cupcake sauce right now.
at the comrades. They do it counting backwards of kilometers.
Yeah.
So there's like a point where there's 17 kilometers to go,
Yeah.
and I just can't get my head, like at mile 40 something or whatever the fuck I was at.
Well, what would 16 kilometers be?
I have no idea.
Like
We had the
10
same
miles.
conversation.
1.6.
Sorry. When did we talk about this?
Last
week. We had- it was in the drop-
conversation.
It is similar to like
Old new.
the
Grab
Taste
bag.
of Chicago when they have this like 7 tickets for $11 and you can't do that kind of
Oh,
conversion.
that's different.
They do that
There's
on
just
purpose.
no conversion. Nobody can do that.
Someone
Math.
from the city council sits down and says, "Let's do this Taste of Chicago in a way that no one knows how much money they're spending."
Exactly.
And that's what they do. Because then you get these tickets and you don't know what they're worth.
Yeah. There's always like 4 left over. You know.
You don't know what it's 7 for 11. What's each ticket worth?
Yeah.
What are we talking about right now? My God.
I thought about this because Aaron lived overseas where they use the metric system.
Well, in London they use miles.
Oh, all right.
But yeah.
But how come when we do like a 50K, they don't do it in K? Or when we do 100K, they don't do it in K? They still do it in miles.
Yeah. It's because we're like that's because we're America. We can do whatever the fuck we want. God bless them. The rest of the world can go fuck themselves.
I just think it's interesting.
Just start this podcast with tons of
All
swearing.
right, so
How much fun.
should we start off with what we did recently since our last podcast?
Yes.
Scotty, go ahead.
Well, I DNF'd 2 races.
Really?
Done and done.
The first one was Crimea River 50 mile. I quit at mile 25. I did 1 loop and then I stopped because I was in a muddy, slippy, slidey. I got to a point where I thought about the fact that last year...
Did you keep slipping
The
on your
muddy,
skirt?
slippy slide was okay. The rest is excuse territory.
I
no.
kind of actually told him he should quit.
My
Yeah.
next race is the AC 100.
Yeah.
Last year, I signed up for the AC 100,
I
spent
thought
the
doing
money,
50
booked
was
the
too
air,
much.
booked the hotel,
You don't want to risk injury.
and then I couldn't go because
Yeah.
I was injured.
Yeah.
Now I have a cabin, I have a car, I have a hotel, all non-refundable. I didn't want to, and I'm slipping and sliding. I'm thinking, well, what happens if I slide?
Yeah.
And then the other one was the Krispy Kreme challenge, which was a roughly 6 mile.
4.6.
I DNF'd it. Chris, what's the matter, Cat? What's wrong? No, Cat's freaking out. What?
I forgot my cat's kudos paper upstairs.
Go get
What
it.
are we going to do?
Now you edit that out. We could have fucking just...
No, we can just vamp while she's gone.
Yeah.
It'll be entertaining.
Let's talk about Kat while she's gone. Scotty,
Yeah.
three
Hold on.
things you hate about Kat. Go.
So, first of all, she's fucking late today, okay?
I know.
Oh, sorry. And then when she shows up late,
She makes it our problem.
she's in a bad mood.
Really pissy.
So she's late, you're late, Matt's late because Matt was riding with
I
me.
was here and I was set up today.
I want to
Well,
say,
fuck.
God bless you, Corey. It's
I wanna
about
say for the
goddamn
record,
time.
Corey was here on time, set up ahead of time.
Yeah.
So,
Crushing it, Corey. You're crushing it. It's only was this the 10th one?
Matt, you don't know, usually we're here for like 3 hours while Corey's going, fuck. And we're doing that Skype chat. And he's like, hello. And then we're all talking and he's like, fuck. This is like what we do.
So before we get to
Didn't
any
even
more
happen
things you
today.
hate about Kat, she is pacing you for the AC 100. Though.
She's pacing me, and
It's weird that all we said when we were talking about things we hate about Kat is things that we like about her.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm putting
Okay, I'm back.
Putting on the Periscope. What were we talking about? Oh, Kat forgot her kudos.
Okay.
Now we're back
got 'em.
online.
All right, Kat, what have you done since we had our last?
No, let's introduce the guests first of all.
okay.
The guest
So
is
I'm Scott Coomer. I'm here with Kat
This is
Claiborne.
a
We're at like
mess.
20 minutes in. Everyone's confused. Kat Claiborne.
Hi.
Aaron German.
Good evening.
Corey Fain. Hello. Okay. And you don't get to talk yet. We'll bring you up later.
Okay, so I went to Crimea River, and I just had an awesome...
Was I done?
Aaron just asked me what I did.
All right.
Good Lord.
You are done.
Power
Okay,
hungry Scott. So I went to Crimea River, and I took my family, and Zoe, my 9-year-old, did the 5-mile trail race with me. It was really fun, and she did awesome. I kept worrying that she was running too fast and she was going to start crying, and by the end of the race, she was like...
Had those fears for Scotty during the thing, too.
By the end of the race, she's like, next year, can I do this by myself? And I think because I was holding her back.
Wow.
Yeah, so she had a great time.
Mom is no longer Superwoman.
You took the whole family there.
Yeah. So we all camped out.
Would you have gone
and then,
faster if she went faster?
Yeah, it wasn't like I couldn't run any faster.
You should have told her that. I'm slowing you down?
But she did get to a point where, like, in all the runnable sections, she was, like, sprinting.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun.
Kids have an unbelievable amount of energy.
So I had a really good time there. And then my family and I stayed around and watched a big portion of the 50 milers finish their races. So
Because your husband
It was a neat
went,
weekend.
and your little one went, and
and the older one, yeah.
and you didn't do any races this month since last week.
No.
Just that.
No, just that 5-miler. We
Do you
got
have
a
to-
medal for it.
Do you have to explain things to your children, like when people shit themselves out there running, or like bloody nipples, or anything like that?
They didn't notice anything of that sort.
They probably wondered why everyone was swearing.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, the swearing is just continuous with these ultra runners.
Yeah.
And I just tell them, they don't have kids.
They're all going to hell.
I have kids, and
Well, actually, it was really funny. Right after Megan, a woman that we're going to have on our podcast in a few weeks.
Megan Kenahan.
Yeah, right when she finished her race, she was using the F word, like, continuously in front of my kids and kind of going, oh, sorry. And Amanda Runyon...
She's probably super high from finishing the race.
And Amanda Runyon, our former guest, looked right over at my daughter and goes, she does that because she's a bad person.
Well,
But she was totally kidding.
she said it with a
I
straight
guess.
face.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you,
Anyway.
you also were going through a personal injury.
Yeah. I've had quite a struggle. When I had the infection, the bacterial infection that I got from right before Black Hills.
Wait a minute. Is this a lady issue?
No, it was like a food poisoning.
I don't want to
thing.
go down that road.
No, at the last podcast, all I knew was that I had gotten really sick. Well, after all the testing, you can just imagine what kind of testing we're talking about here.
Something in the butt.
Something.
Oh, no.
No, they didn't have to put anything in the butt, but what they tested.
What were you thinking when you were
came
giggling?
from the
Yeah.
butt.
I don't, you're like, she's like, it's like under the armpits.
No, just poop. Okay. Anyway, let's just say it.
I had no idea.
So, yeah.
So they had you poop in a cup?
you had a problem with your armpits?
I don't want to go into the
What
details
does
about
pooping
the
in a cup have to do with your
You
armpits?
smelled really
When you
bad?
deliver the
my
poop sample,
God.
because I never had to give a poop sample.
It was disgusting.
Well,
and embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, though,
Yes.
right?
Do they give you like
Yeah.
a newspaper to read?
No,
while
they
you're
gave
in
you
there?
these little vials that were already filled with some sort of liquid, and then it gives you instructions about like stirring and shaking.
Oh, that's not that bad. I'm thinking you gotta like shit in a bowl and give it to them, and there's like corn, peanuts. No. You had a
Why
little too
don't you
much
chew your
spinach.
peanuts?
If you got a shit
Anyway,
in a bowl,
wait.
you aren't eating corn and peanuts.
Yeah.
You're avoiding that.
But that's not the point. So,
But if you're stirring it up, I mean, that's the same. Like,
Okay.
It's embarrassing because yours is very unique and it comes out in a unique way.
mine,
Cobb
okay.
salad?
Yeah. It's like somebody had a lot of popcorn last night.
Well, you did have to check off a box about the consistency of it, like solid or blah blah blah. I was at the very bottom of that list. You can imagine.
Did it also ask you? Never mind.
Whoa.
Wow.
What's the descriptive word at the bottom of the list? What is solid is to...
Runny, maybe.
Runny, okay.
Yeah.
Sloppy.
Okay, so they found like this gross bacteria in there. And so that's what made me sick. And then subsequently, it also caused me to become anemic, like really badly. So now I'm finally getting back to running maybe 4 times a week, but I'm going so slowly. And it feels like the same effort when I was going a little faster. But
Right. Well, that's good that you figured it out, though.
yeah.
Last
yeah.
time we talked, and I was on the shitty Skype, and you were like, I could feel across the Skype like how depressed you were.
I know.
Well, we only have like a minute. Or
Oh,
less.
whoops.
Okay.
What have you been up to?
I was in Boulder.
sorry.
Oh
that's
my
fine.
god.
So next, we're going to talk to our guest we brought in today, Matt Meniker. Matt is an interesting guy. Matt's somebody that I
It's
saw.
like your twin
Well,
in some ways.
totally. I mean, I heard about Matt, and I looked at
Matt is your twin as the sloppy versus the what was it?
Well, Dobermans was
whatever the
He's
opposite.
not as handsome as I am. I understand that.
Matt is shorter. Not much. No, probably the same height.
5'9".
Full head of hair.
If they remade twins, it could be with us.
Yes, check.
You do have a lot of similarities.
But I looked this guy up, so I heard about this guy. He's an ultra runner that lives in Chicago that I don't know, which is really strange.
too
I mean, that's
similar, yeah.
weird. Plus, he's got a Doberman. He's a Doberman lover, and that's really weird. And then he's a Packer fan from Wisconsin.
Super weird.
So I mean, how is it that we don't know each other?
I just learned he lives 1 minute walking from my
Yes,
front
he
door.
lives
Oh,
right across the street
wow.
from me, yeah.
That's cool.
But he's not someone that's gone to a lot of our group runs. He's not someone that's been a part of our our bigger community, and a lot of us don't really know you until recently. I got to go do trail work with him, and hung out with him a little bit at Potawatomi. So welcome to the show, Matt.
Thank you.
Have you ever listened to the show before?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you kind of get the idea.
Yep.
All right. This year, Matt is going to do the original 600 challenge. So first of all, can you just tell us a little bit about what the challenge is?
So it's 6 100s. It's Old Dominion, Western States, Vermont, Angeles Crest, Leadville, and Wasatch Front.
Oh, dang.
All in one summer.
So 6 100-mile races, and these are the oldest
Yeah.
100-mile races. And, we hear a lot about Western States, but you learned a lot at Old Dominion, which is a race that we don't really know a lot about in terms of...
Is that in Tennessee or where is that?
It's in Virginia.
Virginia? Is that where the college is? Old Dominion College?
No. I don't know, maybe.
Is that in Tennessee?
But
I have no
evidently,
idea.
he met somebody at that race that was bitching about Gordy and the horse and the whole story. And,
the Western State story.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original race director, just had this awesome insight on like how the 100 came about. It was originally a horse race out in California, the Tevis Cup, and
That's the race that became Western States.
right.
The Tevis Cup. Okay.
It's run on the Western States Trail, and she just had some like awesome insight about it.
But what did you learn about it that you didn't know before?
That Western States wasn't originally 100 miles, and
Whoa.
I think she said that her race that she mimicked out in Virginia was the first official measured 100-mile race. So I don't know, that was interesting. And
So how long was Western States then?
it was pretty short, like 78 miles or something, or it was definitely off.
So when we hear the
wow.
story of Gordy and the horse and the first 100-miler and all that,
Yeah,
in their opinion, that's not completely the whole story.
not completely. No,
So who's the first person that ran 100 miles?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Some guy.
Was it somebody at that race or was it...
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So, but they're proud of their history.
So they're saying that they're the first 100-mile race in the Western States is bullshit. That's what it kind of comes down to.
She was kind of alluding to that, but I don't know.
we got to get her on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
She would be an interesting guest.
Yeah, I'll fire back.
Her and Gordy at the same time.
So far you're 3 in,
3 in.
and you just finished one this last Sunday. Yeah.
Yep. This last Sunday morning, Vermont.
And how did you come up with the idea to do this?
I don't know. I guess I've been doing ultras for like the last 3 years, and this is kind of like the ultra. This is like the
was it because you
centerpiece.
got into States and then you're like, I'll just do everything?
Well, he's a slam addict.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one
And
thing.
once you get into Western States, you almost have to do the slam because you're not going to get in Western States for like 4 or 6 more years.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So you're saying that once you saw that you were into Western States, then you're like, okay, I'm doing the slam. And
Yeah.
then you had to sign up for the rest of the races.
and just I signed for AC too. I mean, you have to sign up for AC because AC is open and closed within like what,
It's like
2 hours?
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. My mom signed me up for it. Like I was at work.
Nice.
Cute.
And on a whim. I'm like, I wonder if I can get into this and get on Western States by chance, which I did, and then I just signed up for the rest of them.
So now, prior to this, though, did you run in high school track?
I ran in middle school and high school.
And then did you do marathons for a while?
Marathons for maybe like the past 6 years, 7 years.
And then you get into ultras, and then the first thing you end up doing is the Midwest Slam?
Midwest Slam was my first 4 100s. The first 100 I did was Kettle Moraine, the first 100.
So what's in your head when you go from, I've never run 100 miles, to I'm going to do these 4 100s? How does that happen?
I don't know. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Is there something in your history that's addictive? Do you, if like we go to your house, do you have like 9,000 lighters or something? I mean, I don't understand how you get there.
When you go to Denny's, do you get the Grand Slam and chicken sandwich?
I have had the Grand Slam. Last time was at...
But I mean, you don't just get the Grand Slam. You also get the chicken sandwich and the shake.
Lumberjack Slam.
Lumberjacks, yeah.
Yeah.
Moons over Miami?
I don't know.
Miami.
I just thought it was the first year it was introduced, the Slam, the Midwest Slam, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
And you finished it?
Yeah.
Did you win it?
No.
Okay.
I think I was like 7th or 8th or something.
And then you did a little dessert on top of that by going to Hurt.
Yep.
My
right after
goodness.
that.
Oh, wow. So you did Hurt this last year.
The year before.
Hurt is a really easy race called the Hurt 100 in Hawaii, which is like roots and mud and hot. And
I've seen photos.
One
with
of
those
the toughest
gigantic
races
roots.
there
It's like you're
is.
doing hurdles.
It's gruely, but it's... You know how ultra runners are super awesome and friendly? You get to Hurt and they're serving sushi at the aid stations.
Right.
I mean, like, these people are awesome. And
Did you stay at the Four Seasons afterwards for a few days? Or
I stayed at a hostel.
so then you get done with that, and then you do the Gnarly Bandit series.
The Gnarly Bandit was before Hurt.
Oh, before Hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. So Hurt was like the final piece at the end of the Gnarly Bandit.
Right.
And the Gnarly Bandit is 5
It's
really
5.
hard races in the Midwest.
Yeah, definitely more harder than the Midwest Slam. And this Slam is obviously a lot harder than that, too.
now, this 6, what's it called? The 6 100s?
Original
The
600.
original Slam. I guess there's no, I mean, I've just recently learned there's only like 3 people even doing it this year.
This year, yeah.
Yeah. Is it a small number or is that a big number? I have no idea.
It's a small number.
Okay.
I think back in like the late 80s there was more people that participated, but it's so hard to get into these races now.
Right,
I mean,
right.
especially Western States and AC 100. Yeah, if you don't get into either one of those, you can't complete it.
Have you contacted the other 2 people or no?
No, I've seen one of them on the race course, but you know, like 70 miles in, you're not really chatty. At least I'm not.
I would be super chatty with that person.
Just to put it in perspective, so these 3 guys are working on it this year. Last year, Andy Comita and Jimmy Dean Freeman, who's going to be a guest later on in the show, they finished it. Prior to that, it was called The Last Great Race. And there's some big drama between all these race directors that was conflict about that. Prior to Jimmy and Andy finishing it, the last person to finish was in 2007.
Oh, wow.
And they were the only 2 last year, right?
They were the only 2 last year.
Have there been any women that have done it?
I believe so.
I'm looking down the list. Barbara J. Fryer Cryer, 2001.
Cat.
So
Matt,
You could be the Bear Mile and the original Slam.
well, but
if you fund it.
But understand this. First, you got to get into Western States, which isn't easy. Then you got to get into AC, where you only have 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Leadville's a lottery. Wasatch is a lottery. Vermont is a lottery now.
It is.
I think
But
the
those
rest
ones you
make
get all-
But
exceptions.
most of them are like contingent. Like if you get in
Yeah.
Western States, they'll wave you in.
Nice.
okay.
That's good.
Only if you finish them all.
Right. Like,
Okay.
so I'm not in Wasatch yet. Like, I mean, I have to finish.
If you finish the other 6.
I have to finish the first 5, and then they're going to like, okay, you're in.
Oh, wow.
So if you screw up,
I'm not doing Wasatch.
they're like, screw you, you're not.
Yeah.
in.
But I mean, if you screwed up, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't want to do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm probably in so much pain. I'm like, I don't think so.
So far, what are the 3 races that you've completed so far in this?
Old Dominion, Western States, and Vermont.
And how are you feeling after 3 100s?
I'm okay. Like,
Nice.
I do feel like I'm a little worn down, but I mean, like, I'm up and walking today, and it's like 3 days out from the last race. And
You weren't limping.
I wasn't limping.
You're eating everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to.
Even
I
though
mean,
you're
like,
paleo.
How do
It's
you,
paleo. We've had him eat brownies.
Matt, how
pizza?
do you approach each of these races? Like, do you hold back a little bit because you know what you have coming, or how do you handle this?
I was advised to take them one at a time, and that's how I've kind of been doing it.
Sounds like something A-Rod would say. One game at a time.
You can keep
Yeah.
going.
Oh, okay.
Keep
I'm
going.
sorry.
Just ignore the.
You're done.
It's like
That's
we
it.
hit him
That's
on
it.
one
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
We'll give you a train pass to take the green line home.
Yeah. So I take one at a time, and like, I really don't run fast, so I couldn't possibly like burn out on any of them. So.
You say you don't run fast, but you did this Vermont one in like, what, 24 hours, 23 hours?
23.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two out
Pretty
east,
fast for
they
100.
they force you to run under 24 to earn a buckle. So
Yeah, you don't get the buckle if you don't break 24 hours.
so yeah.
What do you get if you get 25 hours? T-shirt?
I don't know. We didn't stick around for the award ceremony. But
Jug of syrup?
Old Dominion get a duffel bag if you finish under 28.
A what?
A duffel bag.
Oh,
Do you get the duffel bag and the buckle?
If you finish under 28. Yep.
Okay.
what was all the stuff you got at Western States? They give out a lot of stuff, don't they?
Treasure trove. I mean, like, it's crazy.
Did you have to get like an extra
Wow.
carry-on to bring all that shit home with you?
No, but I mean, like, I could have. I mean, like, you get a huge backpack, a mountain gear backpack filled with all this gear and stuff, and it's really amazing. And Western States is such a world-class event, and if it's on your perimeter, or if it's in your sight, do it.
What, is that the best race you've done so far? Number one of all the races?
My favorite?
Yeah.
I think it was like the most like world class event. Hurt 100 was probably my favorite.
That's
I mean,
interesting.
who doesn't want to be in like the tropics for like whatever 33 hours?
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what you say after you finish the other ones too, because I ask a lot of people, like, you know, like Andy or like our friend Mike Siltman, who have done all the hundreds or a bunch of them, and people always say Wasatch and they say Hurt. Those are the two big ones people bring up.
Yeah, I'm really scared of Wasatch. I mean, like that's like because I mean we do live in Chicago and like it's pretty flashy.
Well, that's the other neat thing
So
about him.
how do you train here for vert?
He trains on the sidewalk or on this lakefront path and the treadmill. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and like yeah.
What do you have, a treadmill that goes like straight up?
I just have the standard one at the gym, the 15% grade.
Wow.
So
That's 15% is pretty steep.
yeah, I mean you're walking it. So.
Yeah.
Do you do a lot of that?
Once a week kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I don't enjoy it. So
And you don't go train on the trails at all, really?
well, we don't have a car, so I mean like it would be like renting a car or
That's-
like hopping along with one of you guys, and I'm like I should be doing that. I should be doing that.
Yeah, you need Coomer's phone number and just call him and
we
have
do.
him drive you.
Scott drives people.
He'll come pick you up.
All the time. They get on the train, they get off on 35th Street, boom. I'm taking them to the trail. But, I mean, it's not like you need it because you've been finishing. Maybe it's the paleo diet.
I should be doing more training because it's definitely not easy. It's painful, these races, but
Are you training now, or are you just saying I'm going to do the
Yeah,
race?
that's what I
and
want to
it?
know. What do you do
in between races I'm just eating. I mean, because like I'm losing like 5 to 7 pounds per race, and like hopefully within like I mean there's only like 2 to 3 weeks between every race, so I'm trying to pack on as much weight.
And this
Do you-
one's 2
what-
weeks?
Do you literally not run between? I'm really curious about this.
Infrequently. I mean, more so yoga. I do a lot of hot yoga almost every
Okay.
day. And stretch it out. All those sore muscles.
And,
Drink a lot of water.
Kat is doing the Sawtooth this year, too.
That was a good race.
She
It's
did some
very
pacing.
challenging.
Yeah. I paced someone last year and it made me want to
Okay.
run it. So
And then she's pacing me at AC.
All right.
Should be interesting.
I did love Sawtooth. It's definitely a challenging race, though. And I think because I did that, I was able to do Hurt, though. I mean, like,
that's
that's a
interesting.
good, like, starter for Hurt.
Nice. Well, I want to read a few reviews. We've gotten a bunch of reviews and we haven't read them in a long time.
It's like mile 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
And Matt, now that we let you talk, you can jump in whenever you want.
All right.
Please do.
So the last few reviews, Steel Cut Oats.
Huh?
Steel Cut Oats, but not STEEL. It's STEAL.
Steel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pronounced the same way.
It depends.
Stell?
So now you guys both from Wisconsin. That's how
Yep.
that's how they pronounce things there. Go ahead.
Steel Cut Oats says, great podcast, funny and informative. I've never run an ultra, but I think you've inspired me to, much to my wife's chagrin.
Oh.
That's nice. And then Adam Tinkham. See, I'm worried about pronouncing it right.
That's fine.
Take him.
Great concept for a podcast that supports everyday runners that happen to like to run, in some cases extremely long distances. The 4 regular hosts are quite funny and humble, except for Aaron, about their running accomplishments. It will definitely help get you through those junk miles and at the same time educate about the local and national ultra scene, as well as tip and tricks for survival. Great guests. Keep it going. If you want us to read your review, hop on iTunes and give us a review.
It helps if
And,
you make good comments about Scotty and shitty ones about Aaron.
either way,
Then they for sure get on.
if there's someone that you like and someone that you don't like, we should still get 5 stars, but feel free to
You
tee
did
off
read that
on it.
one that said everybody was great but you.
I did read that.
Yeah.
And then the one where everyone's awesome, but I'm aloof.
Yeah.
Well, you
Cat
know,
hasn't gotten
God, we
any
all
bad
remember
press yet.
Yeah. Everybody
guess-
I'm
remembers
sure
the
someone
fucking-
hates me.
in the
Oh, no,
interest,
you got the Minnesota.
oh yeah. In the interest of full disclosure, the very next one is our worst review ever, 3 stars.
Let's
Oh
read
my
that.
god.
I
Can't wait
think
to hear
this.
this.
I think this would be a very entertaining podcast, but when I'm constantly riding the volume control in order to hear everyone, it just puts me in a foul mood.
Yeah.
Compressors are your friend. Use them. Also, maybe try a little editing.
Yeah.
And his name is Destroys All Tacos.
We really get.
That's only true of episode. That's only after the first episode.
Yeah.
well,
There's
and
fucking 4 compressors turned on right now.
Corey's taking that very personally.
See, did you hear me get defensive when they were picking on me?
I'm just saying, Blue Cat Protector is on
It's
right
like
now.
it's like nerd on nerd hate crime.
This is a guy that hates Corey at work, and he's just because he's only reviewed 1 podcast and it's ours. No, but hey, I appreciate it. You know, we could use help on what we're doing wrong and what we're doing right, and I think it's great.
Can I ask Matt one more question?
Yeah, I want to ask Matt more
bug.
questions.
No, we're done with Matt.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Poor Matt.
God, Scotty is
Do
a
it.
fucking Nazi on this thing.
Just, he wants to talk about himself. It's okay.
Let's talk
Matt's
about
more,
me for a little
Matt's
while.
more interesting.
When you presented to your partner that you're going to be running 6 100 miles this year, how'd that go down?
It's kind of like you can do it, but this is the last last hurrah, which is fine. I mean, like, there's probably gonna be more, but
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be like special runs.
The
like,
last hurrah this year?
Yeah.
Or
right?
Ever.
Well, it's expensive.
It's so expensive. I mean, like, it's like $10,000,
Oh, yeah.
and like it's all your vacation time because you have to like go to these races, the mountain races, like a week early to acclimate, and it's hotels, it's cars, it's crew, it's pacers, and it's food, and it's supplements. It's a lot of money.
Is he there with you at all these events or no?
A couple of them.
Yeah.
I definitely this slam, I've definitely made sure there's someone at least someone there.
I mean, your mom was with you.
My mom was there
yeah,
for the
Vermont
first one and the third one, and my sister went to Western States with me.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I have this awesome pacer coming out for AC, and my mom this weekend, she's like, you know, honey, if you want me to come to the rest of them, I'll come with you.
Well, your mom, she's
Wow,
from
what a
Wisconsin,
cool
right?
mom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
there's-
loving mom,
Fucking super nice, aren't they?
super nice.
I drove Matt down here and we were talking about after this last race, and I was like, I didn't realize he had run a race this weekend. Like, oh, have you been running? He goes, no, I take a couple days off after a race. I go, oh, I was like, he's like, yeah, I like, oh yeah, me too. I mean, you know,
When you run your half marathon.
Yeah. I didn't know he did a 100-miler. Took like a couple of days off.
Just a few. That's good.
Well, Aaron's dream is to do the Leadville next year, so
That's my dream.
yeah, you should go out there and do some cruising and
Miles.
pacing at
It's
that.
fun. A lot of it's runnable, so
Yeah.
Didn't you do it last
Did
year?
you
I
need
did
a
it
pacer
last
this
year.
Oh, you were at Leadville last year?
I DNF'd. It was my first DNF, which was really hard.
I DNF there too.
But about 20 miles in, I broke my toe. I ran about 50 more miles on it. And then I took my shoe off, and I'm just like, ugh. And like,
Which toe was it?
It was my big toe on my left foot.
Big
Did you
toe.
kick a rock
And
or something?
I kicked a rock running downhill way too fast.
Oh.
And lesson learned, never again. Anyways, I took my shoe off and like all black on the bottom of my foot.
Did you think that you might lose it?
No, but I definitely burst a blood vessel,
Yeah.
and the medic was like, "I can't tell you not to stop, but I'm telling you that you should probably stop."
Does it look
And-
weird now?
No, it's completely fine.
That's not fun.
But
You see, like, a
it was
weird
hard
thing.
because I had a DNS UTMB in 2 weeks following that, so that was like
You were gonna do, but I DNS you
Oh, really?
last year too.
Corey's DNS'd every race. That
Oh yeah, we were there. I actually went there, and
You did?
It's so
Oh,
funny that we
cool.
were there at the same time.
No, I didn't go there to France.
Oh, France, Switzerland, Italy.
Wait, you
No, I
went
didn't
there and then
Well,
didn't start?
Right. Okay. Well, everything was paid for. Right? You have to pay for everything up front.
Yeah, I already knew it wasn't gonna happen. So.
Oh, it's so awful.
I definitely wanted
Why
to
are
do
you
that race
feeling
again.
bad for him? He got to go to France for crying out loud.
Yeah, it was in France. Where they
In
were
Italy.
where they were doing the kilometers and shit. And Scotty would be confused.
Yeah.
Well, and then and they don't have the ounces there either, right?
Oh my lord.
In hindsight, I'm glad I didn't run it. I wasn't prepared for it. These guys are like mountain men. Their legs are huge, and they're just like, I'm gonna get up this mountain, and I'm like this little scrawny kid from Chicago. I'm like,
It's a terrible French accent, by the way. But, yeah.
Aaron, you'd like it though, because these guys that he's talking about, they
Spandex.
wear those the white spandex.
Yeah.
It's
The
a
white
big-
ones?
White ones.
With
It's a
nothing
big
else on
thing.
top.
No, I think they do a lot of times have something on top,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think it's a look you'd appreciate.
You don't want to go white Mandex with nothing on top.
Aaron is a huge fan of the spandex pants, no shirt. Loves
Yeah.
it.
wow.
What about you, Matt?
Fully clothed, sunglasses maybe.
Okay, there you go.
That's his look. All right. Well, a couple other things I wanted to just get out of the way.
House cleaning.
I want to do a shout out to our friend Jim Petrozzini, who's talking about the fact that he can't run. He's still listening to the podcast, and it kind of feels like, he's running with people. What's the matter?
Somebody's making a lot of noise.
I'm sorry, that was the microphone. It's like
Yeah.
slowly falling.
She
You're
was
gonna
rearranging.
totally piss off that guy again.
Sorry.
Jimmy P doesn't mind. And then I also wanted to do a shout out to Castle Danger Design.
Wait, what's wrong with Jimmy P? What
He has
happened?
some sort of injury and he's not been able to
Aw,
run. So
sorry.
yeah. And then our friend Jake Burkhardt has a company, Castle Danger Design, that makes these cool shirts, and I bought one of them, and they're like trail running themed shirts, and it's like tick magnet, like a T-shirt. So I just want to shout out to him too.
Tick magnet. That's
It's kind of
funny.
a cool thing, and nobody's making cotton tees for people that run. It's all this dry fit crap. So there
It's
you
a
go.
cotton running
Cool.
shirt.
No, they're just trail running themed T-shirts to like hang out.
For hanging out.
Yeah, you're not gonna necessarily.
Yeah,
run
there's
in it.
like you go to a race and you get a shirt you want to wear when you're not at the race, and it's like a technical shirt.
Yeah.
You just want a cotton shirt that you can wear
Well, you
around.
can't wear a technical shirt like
Right.
to the
People are like,
coffee
what's
shop."
going on, dude? You going for a run?
yeah.
No, I'm just hanging out.
I wear my Boston one everywhere.
Okay, that's different.
It's like yellow.
Did you
bright
wear?
yellow.
Did you wear it when you were hanging out with Meb this week?
Yeah, me and Mab we went for a run.
We posted pictures on the page. Aaron was hanging out with Meb, who evidently last time he didn't know who he was, and this time he's hanging
What
out
do you
with him.
mean you're hanging out with him? What?
There was a sponsored event at Fleet Feet, and I fucking went there like a 12-year-old at a New Kids on the Block concert. Just woo! I brought my orange jacket for him to sign. We went for like a 2.5 mile run. And
Just the two of you?
yeah, no, there was like 50 other fucking tards on the It was like a Tuesday at 10 a.m. or something. And I was way too excited. But you could like run with them, and then like I of course forced my way to the front and like asked him a question.
What'd you
I know.
ask him?
I just asked him about Boulder because I know he had been there before. But yeah,
I've been getting a lot of messages from Aaron about how awesome it is to run into Boulder. So
I came back from Boulder and I was depressed for like 3 days.
keep
Chicago
sending
just
me
totally sucks.
pictures and telling me
Yeah.
I just don't understand. It's awesome to run in the mountains, and I'm just like,
I'm moving there.
why do you think we've been doing this for so long?
Yeah.
Here's another question. I don't know if you guys have been following this, but
No.
his Boston
It's
Marathon
stupid.
thing brought it. No, we got to talk about it.
What?
I think it's interesting.
Uh-oh. I'm
No,
scared.
I know. I'm already voicing my opinion.
There's this article about this guy who ran Boston, who allegedly cheated on the qualifier, and then there's this investigation into his race, and they determined that there's no way that he could have done it, and there's like a big article about it. Well, this is on the Let's Go Run message boards, which is like fucking madness as it is. But now Let's Go Run has said they'll give $100,000 to him if he can go run a 3:11 marathon. but evidently his like history is like 3:40, 3:50, and then all of a sudden he had this like 3:11, and then he got into Boston. He went to Boston, and then he was the guy that went on the rant about the teachers got mad because he took his kids out of school. And so he like told them about how awesome it was.
That's the guy?
That guy. So he goes on this self-righteous rant about taking the kids out, and then someone says, well, how is it that he got into Boston anyway? So
nice.
they these people on Let's Go Run, who are, the biggest douchebags in the world as it is, they like went into all the other people that finished at the same time as him in this race and looked at all the pictures.
You can do
There's
that.
no pictures
There's no photos of him. Classic.
So there's this huge thing, and then it kind of blew up on Facebook again today because they made this $100,000 offer. And my reaction was, who gives a shit? I mean, if the guy cheated, he's a dick. But I mean, I don't understand why these people are on a rampage to embarrass him on the internet.
I mean, that seems fun.
Because that's the internet. That's exactly what you do on the internet. That's why I'm not on it, except for whenever you put me on it. People are mocking me in my orange jacket being signed right now.
But I think it's also because you've gotten away from that whole thing about time. Like, you don't spend a lot of time worrying about how fast you're running and what your time is going to be for your next race and what your pace is, and like you're removed from that world where that is a very serious thing in Aaron's world, right?
I think also they're going after him because he was like holier than thou, right? About taking his kids
probably.
out. That's probably the main thing.
But there's this idea that he took the place of someone else that should have been there using that bib. And I'm thinking, well, if you had enough money, you could, all those charity people, they just go and run. I mean, I don't understand. I don't think it denigrates my performance.
No, but no. So the person who missed the time to qualify by 0.01, they would have gotten a bib.
Yeah, we're all adults here. They can they're fine.
But that guy could have ran like 20 seconds faster, and then he would have got it.
Was he a 10-year-old kid? No. That's stupid. I agree with Scotty.
Although I do know a guy that missed it by 2 seconds 2 years ago. Last year, 1 second.
Ouch.
But he still he did the charity.
I missed the lottery by like 3 numbers. Nobody's crying for me.
I just don't understand why anybody's that. Like, we've had that happen in our group where someone is accused of cheating at a race.
Oh.
It's happened a few times where someone like cut the course or something like that.
I've accidentally cheated.
Well, there you go. You're a proven cheater.
I went right to the director and I gave her my medal. I said I cheated. I didn't realize I missed a 0.2 mile loop and the whole thing. And she goes, "What are you talking about?" Like,
is it wait? Is it cheating?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was an accident.
No, that's not cheating.
Yeah, because that was an accident.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same result.
Well, anyway, your point
you cut
is
the course.
Yeah,
but I don't think that I think cheating is
Cheating means you snuck it and you didn't tell them.
We're getting into semantics here.
Well,
you're a good person, Aaron. Right? All we're trying to say is you're a good person.
I'm a cheater.
I'm just saying I don't care. Does anybody care about this? Corey already said he doesn't care.
That's 5 minutes of material. We could probably cut.
Yeah, I don't
it's in Runner's World. It's all over the place.
Well, they got nothing else to write in Runner's World.
There's
only so many quinoa stories they can write in Runner's World. They actually.
What do you think, Matt?
To be fair,
what do you think about this?
To be fair, they're copying off us in Runner's World. They did a whole article about pooping this last time.
Okay, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Matt, did you do Boston? Have you done Boston, or are you gonna do it?
I haven't done Boston. I haven't run really fast since high school track, and actually, it hurts me to run fast.
Me too.
I'm a slow runner. Fairly slow runner.
23 hours, Matt, is not slow for a 100 mile race.
It's definitely middle of the pack. So
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Middle of the pack.
Front of the middle.
So if I was to
Back
do
of the
Boston,
front,
I'd definitely have to really train for it, and kind of like a bucket list thing, maybe 2 or 3 years out.
I bet you could probably I bet you if you put 6 months into it, it'd be no problem. You'd bang it out.
Yeah, it's 6 months though, and I have this Doberman at home and work, and
you can run with a Doberman.
This one, he's acclimating to it.
He's best in show.
He's a champion.
He's won some awards.
Wow.
He's a champion.
He's
Doberman.
not Dovey.
Yeah.
How old is your dog?
16 months.
Okay, so Corey's left the room.
Oh yeah, Corey's left the room. So Corey ran a 200-mile race.
We're just pretending like he didn't, just to aggravate him. We're waiting to see when he's going to explode and be like...
I don't think he gives it. I don't. He's so aloof.
Does he see me?
He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know that we're ignoring his probably his biggest running accomplishment.
My heart is racing. I feel so uncomfortable about this.
Wow. I don't give 2 shits. What does that mean? That's terrible.
Okay, continue
I think it's interesting that he doesn't give a shit about this, but he'll wait in line like a 12-year-old schoolgirl to run next to Matt and say, "Hey, I was in Boulder once. Weren't you?"
I think probably Corey doesn't even realize that we've ignored it.
Is he making noises? I just heard something.
I don't know what that was.
That was you.
No, not me. No, not at all. Oh, that's funny.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
I like how he let the mics run.
I also think it's interesting that it hurts Matt to run fast and hurts Aaron to run slow.
Yeah.
It's like they're completely different. Because Aaron can't
I'm
run.
on Matt's side.
It hurts to run fast. I'm totally. I mean,
My body does hurt when I run slow. Like my joints.
Yeah.
Like things bang into each other. And
Feels good to run
Yeah.
slow, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, like the heart rate and the breathing, it feels better if I go faster. Oh.
next we're going to interview Jimmy Dean Freeman. Jimmy Dean's done just about everything that you could think of, but most importantly, Jimmy Dean has done the original 6 Hundo challenge, which our guest Matt Mennacher is going to be attempting this year, and he's done the AC 100, which Matt and I are both off to go do. So here's the interview with Jimmy Dean.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Is that Jimmy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, success. We have great success.
Nice.
There you go. All right, well, we're talking with the least interesting member of the Freeman clan because Bardot and Spirit and Mrs. Freeman are not available.
Look, I'm okay being number 4 in that list.
What's it like hanging out with all these ladies all the time?
Pretty familiar. I was raised in a household of all ladies, so figured it's sort of my lot in life. Kate and I are probably going to have another, and we're joking that knowing my statistical odds and probability of gender balance, she'll have twin girls next.
That would be awesome. Well, we're here with Matt Meniker, and as you know, Matt is going for the original 6 Hundo challenge, just like you did last year.
I'm familiar, and I'm rooting for Matt, and I'm rooting for the other 2 gentlemen that have also made it halfway through.
So all 3 of them are halfway through? Those are the only 3 guys that were trying?
Yeah, and Mauricio, who's the guy from LA that I had not met previously, also attempted to throw in a Badwater 146 solo, and he started that 3 or 4 days after Western States, and literally was at 143 miles, 143.5, and had to turn around right before the summit of Whitney due to lightning.
Oh shit!
So
Now, Matt's not throwing the bad water in, right?
He's not
Not this year.
He's not finishing his magnificent 7, so to speak, but he's still on board for the original 6.
Well, and now next we have AC, which I know there's a race that you know better than just about anybody, and is right there in your backyard. Is there anything that me and Matt should know about AC before we head out there?
Yeah. Are you religious, gentlemen?
No.
Not lately.
I'm very religious. Are we talking about
Yeah.
abortion and stuff now? Or what?
Well, here's the thing. If you're religious, do a lot of praying. I'm personally not a religious person, but you will find Jesus on the trail somewhere. It's
Doesn't he live in Boulder?
Yeah, he visits Angeles Crest. You'll hallucinate Jesus, the devil, all 12 apostles. It's a nasty race.
Holy Ghost.
Which of the
In the
6? Go ahead.
In the 6 last year, Angeles Crest was the only one that brought me close to DNF.
Is it statistically the hardest one out of the 6 or not really?
Hard to say. I consider Wasatch a more difficult course, maybe the most difficult course of the 6. I believe the one that has the most difficult cutoffs, depending on how one is at altitude, is either Leadville or AC. The thing is, they keep very tight statistics on the Grand Slam of ultra running, which Angeles Crest is not a part of. They do not keep those same, like, starters, finishers, which race they DNF'd at for the original 6. A challenge formerly known as the Last Great Race.
No, was Andy, did he struggle the most, do you think, at Leadville?
Well, Andy attempted the 6 back in 2007 and finished 5 of the 6 and timed out at Leadville. So now that said, Andy lives up against the San Gabriel Mountains, so AC at that point he had done a handful of times. and I think that was his second Leadville. So it's really hard to say. But I had a tremendous number of problems last year at both Angeles Crest and Leadville. Actually, I had more problems at Leadville. I was just closer to dropping out at Angeles Crest.
Now, what, like, Matt, do you have any questions for Jimmy as someone that has done what you're about to do? I mean, have you had any logistical issues or any big picture questions about the process?
I'm just kind of taking one race at a time, like Jimmy had suggested at Western States. I think I'm gonna have a pacer coming up at Angeles Crest. Tommy from Reno, so he'll meet me at 50 or so. And I don't know, just give us advice.
Yeah, what's the hardest part of AC?
Tell us everything you know about running in like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Angeles Crest. Generally speaking, I don't think of it as a 100-mile race. I think of it as an 8-peak ascent. The peaks are Blue Ridge, Baden-Powell, Williamson, Cloudburst, Hillier, Newcomb, Wilson, and Low. As you tick away those climbs, those are basically all of the climbs that you'll do that the climbs last more than a mile and a half. There's a couple little lippy things in there that are like a mile long, that are steep, that I don't count as peaks. But if you just think of it as, you know, an 8-climb ascent and you just start to tick off the climbs, you don't get stuck on the mileage. You don't get stuck on how many miles there are to go. The doozies are Baden-Powell, which is the 2nd climb, Wilson, which is the 7th climb, and Low, which is the final climb. Baden-Powell and Wilson are both, 4 to 6 mile climbs, and they're 500 feet per mile type ascents, with some steeper sections than that. Baden-Powell is tough because you're between 6,000 and 9,000 feet of elevation. Wilson is tough because it's steep, it's long, and it's at the 3/4 point in the race. You go basically from mile 74 to 80. That 7th climb is where a lot of dreams go to die.
Is that where there's park benches that people have been telling us about?
There's a bench that's very well known in this race that is named Dead Man's Bench.
Chiping Fu told us we cannot sit on that bench under any circumstances.
Do not sit down, Matt. Scott, do not sit down on that bench.
I want a selfie photo of you sitting on the bench.
Well, yeah,
Just a second.
If
Just for a minute.
If you do it, if you don't feel like sitting and you sit down to like defy the AC gods, that's perfectly okay. If you desperately want to sit down, don't do it. The bench is a saucy siren where people have cramped up, people have gone hypothermic because they stopped moving forward, and it's only a half mile from the top. So
you climb the 7th climb, that is?
Of the 7th climb, yeah. You climb a half mile into the aid station, so you get this really steep, switchbacking road out of the way, and you come into Chantry Flats. And typically Chantry is a between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. arrival. Some people are getting into Chantry as the sun's coming up, and if that's the case, you're fighting a cutoff, so you got to get in and out of there quick. But Chantry is the last place that you sort of see any type of civilization, any crew if you have any. It's the final crew point on the race course, and so you basically do the final marathon over 2 major mountain passes with little to no support other than a couple of remote aid stations.
Does that sound pretty awesome, Matt?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
that's the part where my pacer is going to have to just shove my fat ass up the goddamn mountain. I think.
Yeah, and I've done a lot.
I'm ready.
I've done a lot of hallucinating on those final 2 climbs. You'll see aid stations before you've gotten to them. You'll see animals that are not really there, and you might actually see a few animals that are really there. It might be hard to differentiate at that point, but
I'm picturing holding like a poker, you know, like on those last. I'm Jimmy. I'm going to be Scott's pacer, so I'm imagining strategies for helping him at the end.
What kind of animals have you? Are there bears there or something? Lions?
There's definitely bears, mountain lions, bobcats, rattlesnakes.
Oh man, nice.
Some pretty impressive owls, mule deer, bighorn sheep. There's a whole multitude of really cool animals out there.
Biblical.
Yeah.
It's like Noah's Ark up there. Do you guys carry? I mean, nobody carries any bear spray or anything like that. They're all black bears, right?
I'm not going to say nobody carries those things, but I haven't heard of any difficult interactions with the bears.
Yeah.
You know, the most impressive bear story I heard at a 100-mile race was Western States, where a bear was actually charging people.
Oh Jesus!
But that was a few years ago. I haven't heard anything similar on the AC course. But people probably do have bear bells and sprays. It's just most of the bears up there will get the hell out of your way.
I was recently running in Leadville, Jimmy, 3 weeks ago, just for fun, and you get high enough there. I was getting scared of bears just because it's quiet and there's nobody around, and I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. I would be far more concerned about mountain lions, but even those, there haven't been any lion hiker people interactions that have been negative in San Gabriel's or the Santa Monica Mountains. In Orange County, they've attacked a bunch of mountain bikers, but
those guys are all fucking douches.
Because they're mountain bikers.
We'd attack mountain bikers too. So
Scotty's Scotty's in a whole online war with mountain bikers here in Chicago. So.
Yeah, we have a lot of issues with the mountain bikers. Where are you going to be on the course, Jimmy?
I am going to drive out or get driven out and dropped off probably at the Cloudburst aid station, which is mile 38.
Okay.
Important to note that I've attempted 20 100-mile races, and generally speaking, I've felt as awful at mile 38 of Angeles Crest as it takes 50 to 60 miles to feel at most other hundreds. So, no, if you get to mile 26,
Matt,
mile
you're not scared
30,
Matt at all on this.
mile 26, mile 30, mile 38, if you feel terrible, don't worry, you've got a long way to go.
Just keep going.
You'll get over it at some point.
You're supposed to say, don't worry, I feel bad. But no, don't worry.
Like,
You're not pacing anyone.
Cloudburst is like 7,000 feet, and it's after 38 that you really start to do some descending and get out of the high country. So, like, there's a 5 mile-ish downhill right after 38. So you just know that, like, you really survive the first 38 miles, and if you do, you can put together some decent splits after that. The mile 38 cutoff can be very challenging. Matt, I'm not as worried about you as one of the other two original 6 guys.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
I thought you were talking about Scotty.
Everybody's looking at me.
Scotty, you should take a look at the cutoffs and know that the race book.
He's well aware.
The race book misrepresents the mileage between 30 and 38. It's definitely about a mile longer than it says it is.
Okay.
The course that has existed for the last, I think, 3 Angeles Crests was not the same course through Cooper Canyon between Eagles Roost and Cloudburst. And they basically combined an old version of the course with the new version of the course. And I'm not going to say anything about the politics that led to it, but it lengthened the course and added another few hundred feet of climbing, which definitely makes that section run longer than it used to, and they did not change the cutoff time. So you really do got to stay focused and get in and out of aid stations, and you don't want your day to end at 30 or 38, because when you get past that 38, there's so much runnable terrain after that, and you're dropping out of the altitude. So a lot of people get in trouble in the altitude for a number of different reasons, but AC is a very strange and unique combination of things. It's generally hot, high desert arid conditions, so the dry air really dehydrates you, and it can be in combination with some early miles that have very high winds. 20 to 40 mile an hour gusts are not unusual.
Jesus.
And when you have a little bit of heat and a little bit of altitude and dry air and a little bit of wind, it depletes people really, really, really quickly. So you see a lot of people who have issues with cramping, dehydration, heat stress, that no one thing seems all that bad. I mean, the elevation profile in the first 40, 50 miles is very similar to Western states. It might have steeper climbs and steeper descents, but it's really remarkably similar, but a lot more difficult. And if you stay patient in one regard and focused in another, don't waste time, but don't. John Wooden has a great quote where he says, "Be quick, but don't hurry." So, it's not getting out of zone by running too hard and burning glycogen at an exponentially higher rate because you're anaerobic. You gotta find a good zone and stay steady and strong. Another thing is, you're not going to make up much time, and it's going to be a tremendously higher energy cost if you try and run any of the signature climbs. So you've got to climb right out of the gate up the Acorn Trail out of Wrightwood. That's incredibly steep. And again, between 6,000 and 8,000 feet of elevation. And you'll see a lot of people that are trying to hustle up that first climb, and they'll be running switchbacks that are flat. I strongly advise that you hike every single step of that first climb, especially when you hit the trail. You'll be on the road for a mile or so to get to the trail, but then once you hit that dirt, hike every single step till you achieve the top of Blue Ridge.
Matt's writing all of this down.
He's
so intent. It's like getting like a fucking cheater card over here.
It's like a court
great.
stenographer.
Good stuff.
Hike every step of Baden Powell. There's a couple of little spots you can run climbing out of Cooper Canyon. The steepest climb of the entire day is Williamson, which is the third one, which is between 26 and 30. That's only a mile and a half climb, but it's like a razor's edge. You're switchbacking across shale, and it feels straight up, and that's usually about the point in the day where you start to feel the first significant signs of fatigue.
How many miles in is that, Scotty?
25.
This is suddenly seeming so much harder than what I had envisioned in my head.
You didn't sign up for this?
No.
Yeah.
You haven't even gotten to the Lions and the Bears yet.
Angeles Crest was my first DNF, so it was also my first 100 because I didn't know any better. So it's a special race, and it can surprise people, but it favors the people who are conservative but not too conservative.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get themselves in trouble taking it too easy, and more people get themselves in trouble going too hard. So you got to find the happy medium.
So you're going to be at 38, or are you just going to be there for the whole race, or are you going to go to a couple other locations?
I am pacing a Southern California good training buddy of mine for the final 26. So he doesn't really have a crew. He has another pacer that's going to crew him from the start. So I'm getting dropped off to jump in with his crew at mile 38. And I'll be where he is the rest of the day. He's shooting for a sub 24.
Wow.
But who knows? I'll hang out at aid stations as long as I can, but I may or may not see you guys.
Yeah, well, I'll be winding into Altadena like at about 32:30 something, so that's probably where you'll see me.
What would you say is your favorite moment of the original 6 you did last year?
You know, it was such a wild ride that I mean, if I had to pick one moment, it would be crossing the finish line at Wasatch. The relief, knowing it was all done. And I had sort of thrown out a goal, and Kate, my wife, not only urged me not to have that goal, but was pretty sure that even thinking about that goal would ultimately lead to my demise. And I wanted to average faster than 24 hours for the entire series, for the whole 6. And I knew I didn't really pay attention to it until I finished Leadville, and I looked at what I had remaining in Wasatch, and I knew I had to do like a 31-hour and 15-minute time at Wasatch to average sub 24. And I crossed the line at Wasatch at like 27 hours and 4 minutes, so my average time for the 6 was 23:18. And
did you tell your wife I told you so?
No, it wasn't so much a feeling vindicated that she didn't believe in me and she was wrong. It was more I was inspired by that I wasn't going to run any individual race with a time goal, that by staying present and focused on the moments that I had and grinding through some major problems. You know, I had some problems at every race, but, you know, major crises at AC and Leadville. And really...
What do you consider a major crisis?
Like a 10-minute poop or what?
At AC, I started to go hypoxic, and...
Oh, that is a major crisis. Jesus.
Yeah, and my lungs actually started to fill up with fluid at mile 60. So I've had this happen a couple of times, and it feels a little bit like when you go swimming or you get rolled by a wave in the ocean and you swallow water and you have trouble taking a deep breath for a couple of days, where every time you inhale deeply you start to cough and you can kind of feel the fluid in your lungs. I believe my electrolyte balance was all off, and it's probably an altitude thing happening there too. And I've never had this condition. I've had it happen in training, and it actually led to my 2007 Angeles Crest DNF at mile 49 at Mount Hillier. I've never had that clear in less than a couple of days. So when that happened at mile 60, I was having trouble envisioning getting up the final 3 climbs. And I was sitting in the aid station feeling pretty sorry for myself, and there's actually a couple of pretty good photos of me looking rather dejected. And a buddy of mine from Badwater, a guy by the name of Danny Westergaard, happened to be standing right next to me, and he said, "Hey man, you're presently on faster than 24-hour splits, and this is a 32-hour race or 33-hour race." He's like, "You don't need to rush out of here. Like, you've got 3 more races to go. Like, why don't you just chill here for a second and get your calories up and see how your body feels in a little bit." So I sat there for about 45 minutes, and for about the first 35 minutes, I couldn't take a deep breath. And then suddenly I could. And at that point, I was like, well, let's get out of here while I'm still feeling okay, and I'll walk down the trail for a little bit. And if I feel good enough to go, there's a stretch right out of mile 60 where you're kind of running up this slight grade. And I'm like, I'll try and run up that slight grade, because if I can run up that slight grade, then I can hike up a steep climb. And that ended up turning around, and I got through that next big climb and into Chantry Flats, and that was a surprise. And
that's awesome.
Chantry Flats, it went south again, and I started throwing up, and I couldn't keep anything down. And that wasn't from any like normal problem. I actually tried to brush my teeth in the aid station, and the toothpaste.
I can understand why that's
The
disgusting. Throwing up
toothpaste
like
just
that.
made me instantaneously projectile vomit. So I've done that in a race before. It wasn't the first time, but I've never thrown up because of brushing my teeth. So that was a rather hilarious outcome. And at that point, it was probably the one time in the summer where my will and my desire to do it was not 100%. And I thought about grinding out the last marathon, which I've probably run Chantry Flats to, Altadena 20 to 25 times. And so I know that stretch of trail really well, and it's particularly difficult even when you do it by itself. And I didn't like the idea of grinding out a 10-hour, final quarter of the race and feeling miserable doing it. And I told my crew and my friends, and I don't think I'm going to continue here. And everybody sort of was in a stunned silence. Like, nobody wanted to say anything. And at some point during that half an hour or so, Andy Komeda hiked into the aid station, and I knew a lot of the major problems he was having. Like, at that point, I don't think he was even able to run downhill. And he walked past me, and it was kind of like one of those movie frame of your life moments. He kind of walked through my frame, and I just knew how much he was grinding, and he's a good friend of mine and somebody that I admire and I respect a tremendous amount. And I just had this moment where I was no longer a part of the equation. I didn't want to let Andy down. And people who only saw this moment, it was the only part of my entire summer they saw. One of the guys that does active release therapy on me saw me go from, like, I don't know that I can continue. He says I stood up, and I'm like, fuck it, we're here, let's go. And my pacer and I got out of that checkpoint, and I ended up running one of my faster splits from Chantry to the finish, in spite of the fact that I didn't have a lot of calories in the system at that point. So that was a big turning point. That was probably, those two moments were two of the lower moments in the entire summer.
Jimmy, if I can cut you off real quick, I just
Yeah.
love hearing the pain of your race, because so many of our listeners probably go through all of these things, and it's good to hear that somebody else is.
It ain't easy for Jimmy either.
I know.
The 100-mile race for ultra running, I feel, is kind of like our vision quest. It's our, heading out into the dark unknown and facing the things that we're the most afraid of. And, a 50-mile race is a tremendous accomplishment, and I don't want to undercut that at all. And there's something very distinct about 50 miles and 100 kilometers. When you get into the 100-mile and you're dealing with, a full day and overnight and darkness, and there's so much more, the pain is so much more significant in a 100-mile race than any distance shorter, that I feel like the difference between people who, if you take out the manual errors and actual health crises, the main difference between someone who finishes a 100-mile race and someone who does not finish a 100-mile race is the person that's willing to push through significant pain and adversity. So
That's something that me and Matt are going to have to keep in mind during the race.
I think Angeles Crest, in that regard, amplifies some of those problems, because the trail's very technical at points, and it's very steep both in the climbing and the descending. And, once again, it has such a unique combination of things that the heat isn't so great by itself. The elevation isn't so great by itself. The winds don't seem that troublesome by themselves. The dry conditions, not that big of a deal. But when you put them all together, it's a magical potion of suffering. And, I was very proud.
Can't wait. Now I'm going to think about it as a magical potion of suffering.
Make that you guys as a mantra.
Every night.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy, I know you have to be somewhere, but I just had one last question. And that's, what was harder, Original 6 Hundo or Stay-at-Home Dad?
The original 6 for sure. Stay-at-home Dad is constant, and it's a much longer ultra, but there's so much more enjoyment. There's really like I know that it really depends on the kid, and we have a young lady that's highly entertaining and sleeps pretty well. So I can't speak for all dads, and I certainly didn't give birth to the child, so I didn't have that pain point. But yeah, I would say that the original 6 was significantly more difficult because I'm just having fun with Bardot all the time.
Well, thank you so much for spending time with us, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, and hopefully I'll see some of these Freeman ladies while I'm there this weekend too.
Definitely. I will not be out in Wrightwood on Friday, but I will be thinking of you guys, and hopefully I get to double back and catch it at some point along the course. But if not, know that I'll be sending you guys both energy and stamina and some kick in the ass vibes for those tougher moments, and there will be those moments.
And if you're at the finish line with Guillaume at the end, and I'm coming in as the last runner, tell him to put the flip-flops on and come and run me in like that old lady at Western States, all right?
Oh, Guillaume wasn't able to run any of like the last 15 or 20 miles last year, so hopefully he'll be able to run some of the end of the race, let alone after his race is over.
He's going to win.
That's your official prediction?
My official prediction is me and Guillaume are going to bookmark this bitch. She's going to be 1, I'm going to be last.
Well, look, DFL is a tremendous honor in any race, and I've seen some pretty epic and inspiring DFLs at AC, including a gentleman by the name of Gil, who will be racing this year, as far as I know.
Who we met at Leadville.
Yeah.
When we were having dinner in Leadville, he was there because Mike Siltman, our Illinois guy, was there, who's the second slowest guy ever to finish AC.
Yeah, the most... He got the most value out of his Angeles Crest participation.
No, I'm paying for 33 hours. I might as well use them all, right?
Exactly.
All right,
no,
Jimmy.
I look forward to seeing you guys at the finish line, and I don't just root for you guys to finish. I expect you both to finish.
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. It means a lot.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, fellas.
Bye.
We'll catch up later.
You know what else I was going to mention? I ran a 5K over. So I DNF'd to 50, DNF'd to Donut Run, and I ran a 5K pushing my friend Alfredo in a cart. We did a 26-minute 5K.
Yeah.
Which is hauling ass pushing a 150-pound guy.
You probably came in like the top 30% at that 5K.
I was 4th in my age group.
You're pushing a 150-pound man.
We were passing everybody left and right, and that son of a bitch is yelling, faster, faster, faster. The whole time it was me and Anastasia, and we're just like crazy.
Came in 4th in your age group.
She came in 3rd in her age group.
Yeah, that's
and one of the
how
guys in our
terrible.
group PR'd in the 5K. It was his fastest 5K ever. He's like,
been-
what the fuck are you doing to me?
It must have been the slowest 5K in Chicago all time.
You should put this on your list.
I'll put it on for next
Dave
year.
Caldwell came in 4th overall. Former guest Dave Caldwell.
Well, if you would move on to Kat's kudos, we could talk about that.
Let's talk about Dave Caldwell.
Cat?
Kat, what do you know about Dave Caldwell?
Okay, so for Kat's kudos this week, I'd like to focus on our former guest, Dave Caldwell. So Dave did a couple things that were pretty cool. He ran the Strikeout ALS 5K.
For our
and
friend Alfredo Pedro Pero.
he ran 6:03 pace per mile to run a 19:08. I just thought that was so fast. And it was cool because he was there for our friend Alfredo, who's suffering from ALS, and then he kicked butt. But what I noticed on his Strava site is that there was this number that was listed. And the number is 89, and it says Sufferfest. It's like some sort of calculation that Strava uses to decide how badly you suffered on your run. So it says 89. Well, then I continued to look on Dave's Strava page because I didn't understand what that number is. I think it's for people who pay, when you pay to be like a premium Strava member. So he gets these numbers placed on his runs.
Well, I
then-
get them when I have my heart rate monitor on. That's where I get the suffer score.
He always wears a heart rate monitor.
Okay, well, so here's what's weird. A few days later, he ran the Krispy Kreme Challenge, okay, and he won.
Let's explain to people what that is.
So the
just
Krispy
they
Kreme
know.
Challenge, and he posted this on, he's got a great picture of himself, after winning this race. So you eat a donut.
Whoa, eat a donut.
No.
You eat, no.
You start by eating a donut.
Do you know what the
No.
race is at all?
I've done it. I did it last year.
You did it
And then
wrong.
You
I
did
think
it-
you cut the
Oh, no,
course.
no,
You did
I
like
lied.
the girl version.
Okay.
You were cheating.
I did not cheat. You guys are so rude. You run 2.5 miles.
There you go.
Then you eat a dozen donuts.
Krispy
Then
Kremes.
you run 2.5 miles, and then you eat one donut.
There you
I just
go.
had it reversed.
Yeah.
I was forgetting. Okay. So it's a lot of donuts. It's disgusting. Take it from me. There's like a picture of me with my face all contorted because I felt so gross when I was eating all these. So he
Is there
does
puking?
this
Do people
run.
puke from that? That sounds.
People can, but I don't ever puke. So it doesn't look like Dave puked. Because he ran 5 miles, ate 13 donuts, and he still did it in an 8:44 mile pace overall. And that's including like the time that it took him to eat the donuts. So I thought that was really impressive. But here's the crazy thing. His score from Strava was 168. So remember, from the 5K, he got an 89.
It was also like 93 degrees that day.
So he got 168. Extreme suffer fest.
Yeah, he said his heart rate was like 180. I was right behind him that whole race.
Aaron was running in as Dave was trying to swallow the last of the donut, and it was a photo finish. I mean, Aaron could have.
And Dave had so at the halfway, he ate his dozen in like 6 minutes.
Oh, and then you had to try to catch
And
him.
I ate mine in like 11 minutes. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to catch him because it's only a 2.5 mile run.
Did you like doing that kind of a challenge, Aaron? With the food? Isn't
was
it
not
hard?
fun.
It's hard.
I'll tell you though, I felt better at mile 4 than I did at mile 2. Like the donuts, they give you, it's 2,500 calories of donuts. And you get a serious rush. I mean, it is full. I mean, there's like a lump of dough in your gut. But, I mean, you're buzzing. Afterwards, he was in extreme pain. And
He was?
Yeah. And I asked him, I'm like, Dave, do you drink soda or eat like M&Ms or cake? Or he goes, no. I'm like,
Oh, he never eats sugar.
Oh, I'm like, I
and
knew
then
this.
he came out and
Yeah.
ate 13 donuts.
I'm like, this is like slightly more than I usually eat in sugar per day, and I feel just fine.
He was
Wow.
rough. I mean, he was rough after we. I mean, this is part of a race series, and one of the other races, the beer mile, we were there. He was hammered.
And
he
was
was.
doing cartwheels.
He was.
is this? I mean, so there's a beer mile, there's the donut thing,
And then the next food event we have is really fun. It's called the Retaste,
right?
where we have all the food stops through Chicago. That one's really fun.
When are we going to do like a line of cocaine and then a marathon?
I'm down.
You know?
I'd rather
Just
have
take it to the next
I'd rather
level.
have it be acid though.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
I don't think I'm
Fistful of Vicodin in a 10K.
Like a 24-hour race on a track, but you're on acid.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, no?
I was thinking we got to start doing some of these challenges between me and Aaron. I think that would be fun, like the marathon challenge, where we have Aaron drink 8 beers in 30 minutes before we start,
Right.
and then we race each other in the marathon.
Then we do a
He's
race.
8 beers in,
Yeah.
make a race out of it, and I like haul ass.
Right. Well, and we asked a guy one time before the Vegas marathon, how many beers does he think it would take from me to drink half an hour before the race in order for Scotty to beat me?
What was the answer?
Well, he said like 6, and then we were like, "What if you had to bet $500?" He was like, "Maybe 8, maybe 8 or 9." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Good, yeah.
you had the $500 bet to get the people to actually think about it.
Hold on, I want closure with this cat's kudos here.
Okay, sorry.
So, kudos to Dave Caldwell. That is an amazing accomplishment in my eyes.
Crushing it.
Which one? The both?
Both,
Okay.
but the Krispy Kreme challenge, especially when I see the Sufferfest score, and it is hard. Like
Cat's
eating
been
all
there.
those donuts is just hard.
He ate those donuts in 6 minutes.
That is amazing.
He was doing
I am,
3, mushing 3 together, folding
Yeah.
them over, and then jamming.
It's awesome.
It's like
So
a premeditated.
great
he's
job,
got a
Dave Caldwell.
strategy there, like-
He didn't look good either. Like he
I think
did not look.
I
good.
feel like because I was there, he turned it into a thing.
Yeah, I
mean,
think
he
I think
wanted
they
to beat you.
escalated.
You guys wanted to beat each other.
And I thought I had no chance, and then I get to the end, and there he is, and he is just. I mean, I was pressing, but my God, he took himself right to the limit of being ill. For
That's
the whole day.
awesome. I love it.
He went all in.
There was only 6 people total. The third place guy was like 20 minutes behind us.
Well, and I was DNF because they didn't buy enough donuts. So then we were going to have to modify it and eat 11
And then
donuts.
supposedly
instead of 12.
who was the 60-year-old guy? What's his name?
Fred.
Fred
McDonald.
said he was going to win, and Fred he pulled in to eat his donuts as I was just finishing mine. I was like nervous.
No one has
was so
ever
nervous
struggled eating donuts like Fred.
I was so
McDonald.
nervous the next 22 minutes that I ran that I thought, oh my God, there's a 60-year-old guy. He probably ate those, like, he probably put those things down like, I don't know, goldfish in the 1950s at a fraternity. You know, just throwing them down. But that was a long metaphor.
Did you chamber that thing, or
Yeah.
was that like on the fly?
That was in a holster. No, that was on the fly. But I get back to the thing, and he's like just finishing his dozen.
It's hard to eat all those donuts. It is really
He's just
rough.
it was just a really sweet
Scott
old.
Fesser just fucking pounds them down.
Yeah.
6, boom, 6, boom.
Yeah, there was one guy there. That, he went 240?
Wait,
Scott, yeah.
Scott, does Scott listen to this show? Because, you know, the only time I ever see Scott is at these
Food
At the
events.
donut
food
fest.
events.
He was also at the 5K.
Oh, that's cool.
He said that he ate them. He put 6 together.
He had a whole strategy.
He says it's like a cinnamon roll.
See, when I did it, I just ate them whole.
Yeah.
And I remember Kyla looking at me like, that's going to take a long time. And then she turned around and they were gone. She's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I can't believe you ate all those.
Anyway, for our listeners, it's something to try with your friends. It's
The next
pretty
day,
crazy.
I went for a run. I kind of wanted a donut halfway.
Oh,
Run.
sick.
Do you eat weird stuff when you're running, Matt?
Do you eat carbs when you're running?
I mean, not
you said-
when I'm just like running. I do maybe like a goo here and there.
What about during a race?
You said you're a paleo.
During a race, I eat everything.
Okay.
I mean, I do like a goo once an hour, and when I get to an aid station, whatever I see,
Fistful of Wonder Bread.
yeah, whatever.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten and you were just like, this is awesome in the middle of a race?
Oh, I don't know.
Go around the room.
Oh.
I ate a cheeseburger in a race.
That's really weird, man.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it is. For
God,
you,
that's
it's not.
fucking
Oh,
crazy.
because he's a vegetarian. That is
Well,
weird.
Kind of, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I ate a cheeseburger, so no, but yes. Aaron?
For me,
Or Kat?
dozen donuts.
Or
I never had it. That's amazing. I couldn't. I was surprised I could even do it.
I can't think of
Weirdest
something
thing I've ever eaten.
that I actually liked. I remember
What
grabbing
about
a
something during
Oh, I know what it
retail
was.
what?
It was at the
How about a hot dog sandwich with
the
mayonnaise?
Sean O'Brien 50 mile. Me and Melissa were coming into the last aid station, and the guy was like, I said, what do you got that's different? What do you got? And he put this bottle of grape soda down in the middle of the thing, and I'm like, I'll take it. And I had like 4 or 5 big cups of grape
Oh,
soda.
I could see that tasting good.
And then I bought grape soda. That was going to be my new thing. I needed grape soda.
You're
to
gonna get
to races, and
sponsored
then I
by
just-
Knee High.
that was it. Anyway, that was
the sushi.
Oh, there you
It
go.
hurt. I mean, like, I love sushi, and like to come across an aid station that's serving sushi in the morning, I'm like, hell yeah.
Was it sashimi or sushi?
Delicious.
Sushi.
How
was, it, was it
nice.
just like rolls, like
Just
California
rolls,
roll?
yeah, California rolls.
Oh, there was no fish on it?
No. Well, maybe there was. I don't know.
Fucking cheap bastards.
That's not
at Hawaii.
paleo.
Yeah.
I remember something that
Not paleo during the race.
Okay.
I finally remembered something. At the Bear, there was, it might have been like mile 87 or something, you know, when you're just like totally out of it because that race took me forever. And they were cooking pancakes, and I was like, oh my gosh, pancakes, that looks so delicious. But there was something on the griddle, I don't know what. And so when they flipped the pancake over, it was green. And so I was slowly like, oh, I thought I wanted
What?
this Yeah, so there was something coating the griddle that was turning the pancake green.
Probably just
And so then they handed me this
Canola oil or
plate
something,
with this
maybe.
like green, but then it was just delicious.
You got to take some chances.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, my first 50-mile race, I remember my wife went out and got all this fruit and vegetable and all this crap, and then I ate grilled cheese sandwiches all day. And
crudité.
I remember her looking at me and saying, I've never seen you eat a grilled cheese sandwich in your life. And
What
that's
was your first
all I
50
wanted to
miler?
eat. The North Country 50.
Where's that? Wisconsin?
Michigan.
Michigan?
I've done that.
Yeah.
Nice race.
It was a nice race.
Yeah, for sure.
That was my introduction to running with roots. I like tripped on my face, full on Superman face plant, maybe 12 times in that race.
I think I had some red wine at the Paris Marathon.
That's fitting.
That's a little unusual. Well, James
Sounds
Fayford
nice.
at the Kettle Moraine, we got to mile 62, and I said, "Hey, you want a beer?" And he said, "Oh, that's a great idea." So I got him a spotted cow. He's like, "I'm gonna walk and drink this beer for 2 miles." And just
I recently met a guy who
Clamato.
has like a pre-loaded gin and tonic at every aid station,
Wow.
at every drop bag.
Highly functional.
I know when we were doing the run across Illinois, Shan Riggs, he would do a shot of bourbon and a beer every night when he got done. It was like his thing.
The Vegas Marathon, I did like 2 25-ounce Clamatos.
He was drinking Clamato. He was
I thought it was
pounding
like 7
Clamatos.
Clamatos.
Yeah. Well, there was a Guinness. There were several different kinds of beer.
There was a lot of
Lights.
beer.
Yeah.
He got a little out of control.
I mean, it's Vegas.
So is that it for Cat's Kudos?
That's a good one.
And
Somebody
wanna
we all know.
If you want to be on Cat's Kudos, join the Strava group. We have
Or
a Strava
no
group.
cat, personally.
That's
Or
the
no
first time I did
personally.
one where I actually knew the person.
Yeah.
Are you on Strava, Matt?
I'm not.
Why not?
Why
Do you
not?
track data?
Cheers.
No.
Me neither,
I
my
don't track
man.
it either.
Me neither.
You don't wear a watch, or
I've started wearing a Garmin just for this series.
fuck
I mean,
that.
it's just like a 6-hour thing. So I mean, like I just have it for the when I'm really low. Otherwise, I just use it as a clock. Just to make sure I get in before the cutoff.
Wait, I have a question. When you're
even
trained,
though you're like 10 to 12 hours ahead of the cutoff.
Just in case.
Always a little nervous.
I know you said in between these hundreds you don't do a whole lot of running, but leading up to this whole thing, how much were you running per week, would you say? On like your highest mileage weeks?
Not a lot this time around. Like 60 miles, I think, per week. But in the past, like 3 years, like leading up to these series, like much more, like 100.
Wow.
This season's been a little lackluster, but
But you're doing great. It doesn't seem like it made a
just
difference.
staying mentally focused about it, doing
I
this
think
yoga,
that's a big part of it.
eating a lot.
It's all about yoga and eating a lot of chicken.
What's next after
Protein.
this? What do you do after you finish the original 6 Hundo?
I
You're running out of slams.
think I want to do that winter slam with you.
Oh,
The next option also is
Don't tell Rob.
I was going to say you're not allowed to do anymore.
There's
Well,
also the grand.
next year.
There's also the Grand Slam of 200s.
the Grand Slam of 200s would be good.
God.
It's funny that did cross my mind, but
Oh,
I've never done it.
man.
I've never gone over 100.
Is your
Actually, Superior is like 106, right?
3.
3,
Depends who you ask. Is your partner going to listen to this?
probably.
Okay. So maybe we should
No, it's fine.
Well, tell him what's the winter slam that you're thinking of doing with Scott?
Yeah.
You tell him, Scott.
Well, it's the Order of the Hieromythus or something like that, where you run the Tuscobia 150, Arrowhead 135, and the Active Epica in Canada, which is an 80-mile road race. And they're all cold, sub-zero winter treks.
It's like for Wisconsin people.
Well, and the good news is that the entry fees are pretty low. I mean, it's not, you don't have to fly all over
Matt,
the
do you already
world.
have the gear, the gloves?
I don't have the $12,000 worth of equipment.
No, that's the problem.
I just threw Matt a
Oh,
glove
those are
that is like.
awesome.
That's like a $3,000 glove.
That's what Kat's going to wear at the
He's
AC.
putting on a mitten.
The mitten
I
is
love
like
that.
12 inches in diameter.
That's a nice. God damn! Why don't I have that to ski in?
I don't know if you could hold your pole with those well.
My hands are cold right
Although
now.
that
I could
sounded
use
a
those.
little bit
You can
sexual.
definitely hold your pole with anything.
I guess it depends how big your pole is.
It's like a pillow. Oh my god!
Isn't it nice?
That's delightful.
That's the fear of nothing gloves.
You know what it is? It's like a mummy bag.
Yeah, there's like an air chamber.
It's like a sleeping bag.
Yeah, it's like a clown-sized glove.
I'm like in heaven looking at that.
Yeah. It's probably
Beautiful.
filthy inside.
It's beautiful.
All it really is a life preserver, though. Because
Yeah.
to be fair,
Can I try it
at
on?
the race,
you don't want
last
to
year,
have to be using that though.
yeah, goddamn you do.
It was
Take
it
a
was-
picture of this. I mean, this is awesome.
It
It
was
looks like on cat. It looks like an oversized oven mitt.
Wait,
we have to do that in our promo picture too someday. We have to take a picture with these gloves on. Hold on.
You know what? I should wear those at like a half marathon in December.
Yeah.
T-shirt and those
The
gloves.
Polar Dash.
Yeah, the polar dash. Yeah,
those gloves are in the race it was minus
So
16.
hard.
you can wear a tank top and then
And
wear
all I
those.
wore was those.
feel so
I wore glove liners and I wore cotton cheapy gloves. I never used anything else the whole race, so I never had to break. So, but these things are like, what happens if I got to sit on a log for a half a day?
How much are those, Scotty?
they're so.
I bet those
Like
are
$3,000.
I bet 400.
Here, you can have one.
At least 200.
200.
Did you tried it on?
It's not, that's to be fair. I've bought gloves I bought like ones with like electricity in them because of the Raynaud's. I have like
Oh,
six
yeah.
kind of gloves. I've never seen these kind.
They're beautiful.
You could totally ski with these. I mean,
Well, I got to use my trekking poles.
would be mocked.
You'd get slowed down.
You would totally get mocked for skiing
catching
with
air.
these.
Speaking of trekking poles, can you use those for AC?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I got them. I have them at home. They're ready. They were ready for UTMB. I think I'm going to use them at Wasatch. Though.
I could really use them for the climbs, you know? I like using them for climbs, but I don't think we're allowed.
No, Scotty, did the Kyla make you buy these?
No.
She doesn't want you to lose your
I
hands.
bought those, a jacket, and a sleeping bag, all insurance policies. Fear of nothing.
So what was the cost of all three of those items?
$6,000.
There's not a lot of money.
$26,000.
Here's the discussion. I could buy these gloves or those gloves, and then what Kyla usually says is, "You could die."
Yeah, that's the
Or what if you lost? What if you got frostbite on both your hands and you could never use your hands again?
right.
$200 is nothing.
You're like, but I saved $200.
No,
I'm crushing.
the jacket was like $750, and the sleeping bag was like $700, $800.
Yeah, Scotty's set for the next 10 years.
But I can get in that sleeping bag and jump into a snowbank at minus 30, and I can be fine for a couple days. So yeah, I mean it's a minus 40 bag.
I mean, you can pee in it too.
You also got to buy a sled
Ew.
Because it's
or build a sled.
squish down.
You cannot.
What do you mean you can pee in it?
You can't be in it.
I mean, girls couldn't, but girls can't do a lot of things. That's why they get paid 78 cents on the dollar. Go ahead. Scotty, you were saying.
What?
I'm not going to let you throw that grenade and then walk away from
Is
it.
that the current statistic?
I don't know.
Matt, what does the original 600 mean for you? Is it another slam, or is
Corey's
it like...
getting us serious.
Whoa, Jesus. Fuck. I can pull the e-brake on that one, huh?
Wow. I don't know. I think it's like Scott Jurek said, like his like capstone kind of thing with the AT the last week. I mean, I don't think there is like a bigger, better slam. So I did attempt the Extreme Slam. It's an informal one last year. Which hurt Leadville and UTMB, and I didn't finish the last two. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of like the capstone slam, and I'll probably just do like one or two a year from now on, or
Unless you do this
Or not.
thing.
or do that, or
You're making a new one.
I don't
It'd be
know.
like the every 100 slam, or the...
Yeah, or like you said, the 200s.
What is it that attracts you to these 100-milers?
I don't know. I think it's just like the completion aspect of it.
I mean, we were talking about this on the way over, and this happens to a lot of people, but you definitely get really high when you're done, and then you get super depressed for like 3 days. Like a week.
But then you
Or
know
even-
in 2 or 3 weeks...
I know.
Race
Yeah,
coming
and
up.
the beauty with the slam is there's always another one on the horizon, right?
There is,
I
yeah.
think that's it.
Yeah, and I think we all go through this when we're running. That are like, oh, I'm never going to sign up for that again. This is so stupid. What am I doing? What a waste of money. And like, what am I doing out here? And then, I don't know. You realize you're having such a great time. It's 24 hours to yourself, and you're going to be in
Or 33
nature.
hours, too.
Or 33 hours.
Our friend Tony, who was on last week, I've run with him several times during 100-milers, and he's always like, at mile 70, that's it. I'm done with hundreds. I'm focusing on 50s from now on. I'm focusing on 50s, and he says that nonstop for like
That's
good
his
portion
That's
of
his
the race.
that's his mantra.
Yeah.
No more hundreds.
I'm focusing
I'm
on
done with
50s.
hundreds. I'm focusing on 50s.
See, I had this like moment when I was running this weekend. I went to Swallow Cliff. It's the trails by where we live, where we work out. And I was at mile 4, and it was hot this weekend. So it was like 90. I was at mile 4, and then I stopped.
Weather alarmist.
I started walking, and I thought, there's no way you're going to finish this race. If you can't handle fucking 8 miles in the heat today, what do you And then I looked down at my watch, and I was walking 15-minute mile, and I thought, I got to average 19-minute miles.
Yeah, that's a
to finish the AC.
That's a 25-hour pace.
Right. So that kind of brought me back a little bit, but this is going to be a hard one, I think.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this one and Wasatch.
I'm more nervous about the
Are you
downhill.
good in the heat?
Actually, from doing the hot yoga, 90 minutes every day
Nice.
in 105-degree temperature,
Yeah, that's good.
I'm pretty good with it. As
And
long
the
as I
hurt?
do like salt tablets and lots of water.
You do that every day.
Almost every day, yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I love it. It's like very meditative.
Now, you also get a
Really good.
massage every other week.
Every other week, insurance covered.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
How do
yeah.
I do that?
And it's not like a pleasure
Yeah.
massage. It's like deep tissue.
It's science. It's It's training.
Yeah, it's training. It's part of the training.
You're smiling, though, while you say that.
It's not. I mean, you don't enjoy it.
Oh,
It's like somebody.
It's very painful.
Sure you
It's like,
do.
Someone
It's like
gets
somebody
their
good.
elbow into your leg
Yeah,
and like
it's like a
ow.
foam roller, but it's another person doing the foam rolling on you.
Yeah, I don't do foam roller because I can't
That's
inflict
what
the
I'm saying,
pain on
yeah.
myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to have someone else do it.
To get that elbow right in the butt.
Yeah.
That's good.
cat foam roller.
No, because I don't like to inflict the pain on myself, but I love getting those deep tissue massages. I probably only do it once a year, but I it's like a good kind of pain.
Corey goes to like Mistress Isabella, and she's got all these different
No, it's a guy.
Mistress
Cranston.
Isabella?
Somebody who's
Mr. Ian.
they have like all these different devices that they inflict pain on you with.
Blunt metal objects.
Blunt metal objects.
That's not the, like. What do you do for massaging?
Graston
That?
is what
Yeah,
he's talking
Graston.
about.
Feels good. Insurance covers
Oh,
that.
I've done that.
Yeah.
It's like an ice cream scoop thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so painful. Like on your,
It depends on the area.
But it's like in a good way,
Sometimes
don't you
it
know what I
feels
mean?
really
it's
good.
like on your ankles and stuff. It's like on your really
Well,
bony
it's wherever-
parts. Yeah,
It depends on whatever.
that's not fun.
Well, I think are we at
Are we at 3
9
hours
miles?
now?
63 minutes.
Oh my god.
Questions from the hat.
Aaron dumped out the hat.
Yeah,
One of them was what do you do about diarrhea?
that's a good one.
Oh,
I was wondering if that was like
Lord.
just like a general life question.
Read the Runner's World. There's a whole article about it.
Okay, so
Kat, you sound like you have some recent experience.
Boy, Kat's winding up right now. She had something chambered on this.
I think you just let it happen. I don't really have any advice.
In the pants,
In the
or
pants?
No!
When you're running,
You step away from the trail. I mean, I'm not dying. What's the question?
I think the question was, what do you do about diarrhea?
I think you just gotta hydrate afterwards.
I think the diarrhea is kind of like the throwing up. It's something that's going to happen, and you just have to manage it. I don't think you can
I don't know what that is.
figure out a way to avoid it completely. I mean, what do you think? You use the lamb's ear.
It's
We've
a
heard about
fiber.
that.
It's a fiber issue.
I looked for the lambs.
It happens, but
I
it
didn't see
happens
it.
like for me, it happens in the late stages of a 100-miler. I don't have diarrhea in other races, but in the late stages of a 100-miler, it's kind of like other people who start throwing up.
I'm earmarking that, so I never am running with you in the late.
the only time I ever get diarrhea.
Kat's like, do you want to pace me?
On a
Is it
race.
like 50 through 70
gotta carry
or
the toilet
80 through
paper.
100?
Is if I eat too much before. That's why I kind of stop eating a lot the night before or the morning of.
That's
Because
right.
if I go in, because I learned
right.
this like with these New Leaf TGIFs we used to do back in the day. Because I had one it started at 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, oh, I might eat pizza, get some shake, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, the entire time I had diarrhea.
Well, no, Scott, remember Farmdale?
Oh, yeah. Farmdale,
So
too.
Farmdale, 3 of us went together, and we had the great idea of eating at Olive Garden at
Oh, you guys are-
at like 10 p.m. and just like chowed down, and then we had
Breadsticks,
ice
salad.
cream and pasta and meatballs and all 3 of us the next day
Oh god.
were having
I said-
issues.
and, you know, then went and did this Crimea River, and we went and we had shitty Italian food the night before, too. I got to stop it with the shitty Italian
Scotty and I
food.
did before my first
Polka de Beppo.
the first time I ever PR'd for
So
Boston.
the thing you do about
Got no
diarrhea is not eat shitty Italian food.
the night
Or you're gonna
before,
run.
Yeah.
yeah.
we all ordered like the heavy cheese,
All cheese.
like the
We ate
cheese
so much
filled
cheese.
pasta. Just like
Ravioli.
I mean, I think I slept for like 3 hours. Just like the stomach gurgling.
Do you get stomach problems, Matt?
Not usually, but I mean, like, I really eat clean.
He eats
too.
really healthy.
Oh,
Paleo.
Yeah.
Oddly, something that really works with me before a race is seafood. The
Oh.
before, like oysters for some reason, really good marathon times.
Interesting.
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, because oysters is like playing nutritional roulette.
No. Most oysters
Well,
are
I mean, you have to
really
go to like a decent restaurant.
Yeah, but there's still, even in the best restaurant, there's a
performed-
chance
Isn't
of...
that like the same as getting sort of sexually hyped up before an event?
God, you just
Like,
fucking thanks for walking away from
What?
a goddamn
What are your-
joke.
yeah,
What?
That's not a
Maybe
joke.
that's
Like,
why I'm doing so
what's
well.
what's your take
I'm
on
lost.
what are you guys' takes on
It's the iodine.
having sex before or
Yeah.
after a race?
Oh,
Is
it's
it good
fine.
before? Does it
Yeah.
ruin it if you're
No, that's like so old school.
What does that have to do with anything?
The problem is that they
well? There's this like there's this idea that like you can't
You burn up a lot of energy.
you can't waste and then you don't have like the same survival instinct.
Yeah.
Well, I'm usually sharing
What
a
do you
room
guys
with
think?
Tony the day before the
Yeah.
race. So, well, you know.
There's always a bathroom.
What do you get? What's your take on that?
Well, I'm not married, so Probably
You can't.
probably happens more often. I don't know. I've never. Yeah, I think.
You haven't
Had sex
collected
before
any
a
data?
race?
I don't think I have.
I think we're gonna have to do a little science
I think
experiment.
we're gonna have to do some experiments.
Put this on the
Everyone?
list.
Oh my
The
God.
drinking.
Listeners,
We'll do it
We
with
need
and
some
without
data.
oysters. The
Oysters,
thing. I'll tell you one thing.
Sex,
You
no
want to.
sex before race.
I'll tell you
We
one
need to
thing
know.
you want to avoid eating before any race, and I've made this mistake many times, is like 4 cups of Raisin Bran with
What?
like 2 cups of whole milk. Like the milk and the Raisin Bran is just a bad combo.
Oh, sick.
Now I had a bowl of Raisin Bran
thought we were talking
before the donut race, and it was like 93 and it was humid, and I could like taste the Raisin Bran coming up. And I was actually happy to put donuts down.
The Krispy Kreme challenge was at 4 p.m. So
Yeah.
you're telling me like at 2
Yes.
in the afternoon you ate Raisin
Well, I was
Bran.
like, I'm gonna go for like a light lunch, and I did like a pho, it's like this Vietnamese soup, and then
and
like
Raisin Bran.
well, and like an hour later, I'm like, well, fucking hell, I'm starving, and I had Raisin Bran at home. I'm like, let's do like a small bowl.
Kat, what do you got going on? When are we back again?
The first week in August we're going to be back. So in the meantime I'll be pacing you at AC.
Fingers crossed.
You know, I have this feeling that if Scott can make it to where I am at mile 50 or so,
52.
he's going to finish.
That's what I think too.
But if he doesn't make it there, I'm going to beat him up.
Well, it's like Jimmy said. There's some hard cutoffs early in this race.
I'd love to see you beat up Scotty.
And there's one section. That section when you do that Mount Baden
I might
Powell. It's
cry.
like 13
I
miles
might
of.
cry if he doesn't make it to me.
Yeah.
So that's what he has to have in his head when he starts like,
Yeah.
And I
falling
gotta have
apart.
in my head what Jimmy said, that if it gets hard, it's okay. Just keep going.
yeah, just
no. He goes, if it gets hard, don't worry. There's a lot more to come.
no, but I think that for Scott, pushing himself hard in that first segment of the race is fine. Like I don't think he has to worry, oh boy, my heart rate's getting too high. I better stop. No, he just needs to make those cutoffs and
I need to have fun and run by feel and have a good time. And if I do that, that's what happened at Sawtooth. And then I was making cutoffs and I was feeling good and it wasn't in my head and it was. I have no choice.
The picture
You
that Jimmy
no choice,
painted,
no choice.
it's just the words he used just like terrify
I
me.
think he was
I'm not even running that race.
I think
He's
he
like,
was
it's
exaggerating and
like it's
embellishing.
dry and it's hot and there's altitude and there's 40-mile-an-hour winds and you're gonna just want to quit. And
I don't think the altitude sounds that bad.
It's not. It's
sounds-
not that bad.
I'm also going to see our friend Justin Burton too.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron, what do you got going on next?
Dick all.
Nothing.
What did you say? Pickle?
Dick all.
Dick all. Have you ever heard that term?
Dick all?
Yeah. I don't know, it's like a Midwestern thing, probably.
Then you would think I would know all about that.
It's just from Minnesota.
You don't know about the sex before the athletic event.
What did you just say? I don't understand that word that you just used.
Dick.
What actually does that mean?
There's a lot going on here. How many? You have a couple kids though, yeah. That's fine.
Do you understand this phrase? I don't get what you're saying.
Nothing.
I thought you were saying pickle.
Yeah.
No, he said dick all.
Yeah. I
He's
got
gonna
nothing
run
there.
around
What is-
dicking everything. And
So you're not doing
Oh, okay. Thank you for the clarification.
anything? Spinning and
Oh well, my brother's getting married this weekend.
Oh,
I'm gonna be in Fremont.
Boulder.
Which, by the way, Fremont.
How many brothers do you have?
2.
Okay, because the other one got married recently.
which Fremont?
Second wedding.
see, that's what's
Okay.
confusing.
That was a Hindu wedding, and this is the Christian wedding.
All of our friends get
So-
married twice.
So right
It's a
now,
thing.
he and his Hindu wife can do things that you can't do under Christianity, but you can do under Hinduism.
This is like a loophole section right
Yeah,
now.
it's like the loophole. For
What
like,
are these things?
don't know.
Okay.
Same dick all. I don't know.
Didn't Chris get married twice too?
Yes.
He got married in Vietnam?
Vietnam and in the U.S. And he was actually questioning his
Hawaii.
Yeah, he's like, "Why are your brother getting married twice?" I'm like, "You're the only other person I know who's gotten married twice."
You get the invitation, come to my wedding in Vietnam.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah.
I don't know about that.
I tell you, I did some running in Vietnam, and you go to a third world country, and you're a white guy running at 6 a.m. when it's 95 degrees out. You get a lot of like, "What the fuck is that?"
that's
That
where you-
happened to me. Oh,
and
go ahead.
and,
No.
and
That just made
I
me
didn't have
really-
shoes for the wedding. Like I didn't have like proper shoes with this. I had this like Chinese suit made. I didn't have proper shoes. Like
You made a Chinese
Was
suit
it a
made for
traditional
Vietnam.
garment?
Are you sure it wasn't Vietnamese?
I got drunk and I went down to they have like tailors there that will
Okay.
make a suit for you like one night from scratch.
In China or Vietnam?
Well, Vietnam, it's all the same.
No, it's not. You
Not
said
even
you had a
remotely close to the
Chinese.
same.
I think
I
they
had a
speak
Chinese
Chinese.
soup made.
It's like saying that Texas is.
Well,
You know they don't
Illinois.
even speak the same language.
Let me get very
They
specific.
have different languages.
When I went
completely.
down, I asked the lady. I wanted like dragons on it.
Oh,
and, like,
cool.
like super cliched things.
like the Japanese guy can't
Yeah.
even talk to a Chinese guy.
Yeah. Anyway, I went for a run the next morning because I didn't have shoes, and I tried to exchange my like Chicago Marathon T-shirt like at the market. I tried to trade it.
Barter?
I tried to barter for a pair of like $2 shoes.
Why didn't
it
you just
work?
pay?
I didn't. Well, I forgot that I didn't have money on me. So I thought, well, this is like a $25 Nike shirt. It says Chicago on it.
Did they do it?
No. They had no interest, and they were very creeped out that I had no shirt on. And
Wait, you were walking around with no shirt?
I was like sweaty from the run, like trying to barter for a pair of sandals.
I went running in Greece one time in a little mountain village, and I was running up this hill or trying to run up, and this like old woman who was walking just was shouting at me, "What are you doing? Why are you running? What are you doing?" Like they just think it's the dumbest, most ridiculous thing.
I like how your
one
Greek
could
accent
do.
is the same as your.
That might have been the worst
What are
Greek
you
accent
doing?
I've
I
ever
wasn't
heard.
making a Greek accent.
Did she have an accent?
Can you do it as a Greek accent? Can you?
No, because
Yeah.
she was speaking in Greek. She wasn't speaking in
We'll
English.
say it in Greek then. Can
Do you know how to
that?
say it?
I
Do you know how
can't
to speak
think of
Greek?
it.
But you were
a little bit,
translating,
yeah. I
yeah.
can understand it very well. I can't speak it.
Can you
very well.
accent it? Just do the accent.
Come on.
No, I can't.
Matt, do you
Sorry.
speak any foreign languages?
I took 2 years of Spanish and 2 years of French, but not really.
That's a no.
Aaron, what do you got?
I took 8 years of French. I was a French club president.
French club.
Thanks for throwing that in there.
Obviously, I did it to meet.
Is that on your LinkedIn profile?
I did it to meet ladies, and I'm
Did it
fucking
work?
terrible at French. Terrible
Oh,
at it.
yeah.
Corey?
I took French too.
A little
It's
bit of
hard.
French, but not enough to.
God, everybody took French.
It's the worst. Why? There's like Montreal, a couple islands,
Paris.
country, like it's like a country
I
in
got
Africa.
kitchen Spanish. that's
French
it.
Guiana
Fucking awesome.
in South America.
Yeah.
That's someplace to go.
Well,
You've
that's
been to
about
Paris
it.
though. You drank wine in the marathon. Paris is good.
What are you doing, Corey?
Yeah.
Chilling.
Chilling? Corey's
Okay.
got nothing going on?
No.
We
Moving to
have
Colorado.
All right. So we did the
a
last 20
Facebook page. We have a Twitter handle. You can check us out. Post your grab bag questions. If you want to help out the show, people are always asking me, what can we do? You guys we don't charge money. We don't have any ads. We plug some things just because we think they're cool. But if you want to do anything to help this show, go on iTunes and leave us a review. It's the single best thing you can do. It increases the visibility. More people see the show. More people download it. It's what you can do. Like us on Facebook. Tell a friend. Listen to the old episodes. Try and find episode 2. It's the best one. And
It is the best one.
anything else, guys?